Good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
We will start the session in 5 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Binayak. NTUST.
I think, Professor Lee, are you here in the WebEx?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good morning, Professor.
Good morning.
Yeah. Thank you for joining.
No problem. Thank you for your invitation.
Thank you.
Good morning, Binayak.
Yeah, good morning, Professor. So let's begin the session. Let me introduce first. Good morning, everyone. My name is Binayak, and welcome to the 6th International Conference on Advances in Distributed Computing and Machine Learning 2025. We have two keynote speakers today, and first is Professor Obaidat and then Professor Lee. And let's begin the first one. Let me introduce Professor Obaidat. Professor Obaidat is a life fellow of IEEE. Probably first time I'm interacting with a life fellow of IEEE. It's an honor, Professor, having you here. He's also a fellow of AAIA and fellow of SCS, distinguished honorary professor, King Abdullah School of Information Technology and University of Jordan. Unfortunately, due to our funding issue, we cannot have you physically here, but it's an honor to have you virtually. And Professor Obaidat received his PhD in computer engineering from Ohio State University, one of the best university in the world. And he has published more than 1,200 research articles and 100 books and 70 book chapters. And he's also the founding editor of several journals, and also editor-in-chief in 3 journals, and co-founder of 5 international conferences. And he is a visiting professor to so many universities around the world. It's difficult to name all the universities in such time. And Professor Obaidat is going to deliver his talk on efficient biometric cybersecurity technique for risk-based authentication in web environment. So let's welcome Professor Obaidat with a big round of applause. And Professor, it's over to you to start the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Carr, and thanks to the organizers of the conference for inviting me to be a keynote speaker for the conference. It's a pleasure to be with you. I just want to alert you, Professor Carr, that alert me when I have 5 minutes to finish. Otherwise, we'll stay until dinner time. Yeah,
oh, okay, no problem. Thank you.
My talk is entitled Efficient Biometric Cybersecurity Techniques for Risk-Based Authentication in Web Environment. My research area spans, various fields, including cybersecurity, biometric-based security, machine learning, AI, big data, data science, wireless networks. And when I started my career, I worked actually at that time in parallel computing and computer architectures. I don't do much of that at this time. The areas I am currently active in are the one colored in green. Recently, Scholar GPS ranked me as the top scholar in telecommunication management for life, and also the top worldwide researcher in telecommunication systems for the past 5 years. And that was surprising to me and an honor that I am proud of. Actually, when I get that, I was upstairs. So I went downstairs to my wife. I told her, this is blah, blah, blah. She said, are you sure? I said, yeah, look, here it is. Okay. So this is an honor I am proud of. And also, I've been ranked as #1 in electrical and electronic engineering in Jordan for the past several years, and in computer science and computer engineering, which they are usually merged together for the past several years, including 2024. As Dr. Carr stated, I am the founding editor of the Wiley Security and Privacy Journal, which I established with the help of other colleagues in 2018. Actually, we announced it at IEEE GlobeCom. At that time, it was held in the beautiful city and country of Singapore. It covers all areas of security and privacy, including networks and information security, of course, communication, biomedical and business, and also privacy. I'm also editor-in-chief of the Wiley International Journal of Communication Systems since 1997. Boy, it has been sometimes, more than 27 years. At that time, I did not have gray hair. Now almost all of my hair is gray. Springer recently published a book to honor my significant contribution to the areas of computing, informatics, networking, and cybersecurity. And the book is entitled Advances in Computing Informatics, Networking, and Cybersecurity, a book honoring Professor Mohammad S. Obaidat, significant scientific contribution. The book was edited by distinguished colleagues from all the continents, including Professor Nikopoulos from Greece, Europe, Bernard Ziegler from University of Arizona, United States, Lawrence Yang from St. Francis University in Canada, and he is now the Vice President of Hainan University in China. Sudeep Misra from Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, and Professor Zhao Lingning is now at Chongqing University of Post and Telecommunication, and he was before at Dalian University of Technology. These are samples of books that recently published that I am editor or co-author of them. And this one of them is Intelligent Computing on IoT, Big Data Analytic and Blockchain Techniques, published by CRS, which is Francis and Taylor. Federated Learning for Digital Healthcare, again, this is by Elsevier. A Handbook of Security and Privacy of AI-Enabled Healthcare Systems, that is also by Francis and Taylor. Biometric-Based Physical and Cybersecurity, Springer. And Advances in Intelligent Systems and Computing, Simulation and Modeling Methodology, Springer. Internet of Things and Personalized Healthcare, that is also published by Springer. Socialized or Social Network Forensic Cybersecurity and Machine Learning, that's Springer. Smart Cities and Homes, that's a best-selling book actually, published by Elsevier. And this book is also very popular, Principles of Wireless Sensor Network, published by Cambridge University Press. And this is co-authored with my distinguished colleague, Sudeep Misra from IIT Kharagpur. This is used textbook all over the world also and has been translated to other languages. Modeling and Simulation of Computer and Network Systems, Elsevier. Handbook of Green Information and Communication System, Elsevier. This is a major book, and actually it was published 2013, and earlier, before we published this book, I was invited to Hangzhou, China to give keynote speech at IEEE GreenCom. Cooperative Networking and Pervasive Computing and Networking by Wiley. Security of E-System and Computer Network, this is from Cambridge University Press. This is used all over the world as textbook, very popular, translated to several languages. And several years ago, immediately before COVID, I was asked to give a one-week course at University of Science and Technology, Beijing, as part of my People Republic of China Ministry of Education Distinguished Professor at University of Science and Technology, Beijing. When I gave them the syllabus, the syllabus, they said, "Oh yeah, we love it, Professor." I said, "Do you like my book?" They said, "Yes, we like your book, but we like one aspect of your book." I said, "What is that aspect?" I said, "There is a Chinese edition of it." Until that time, I haven't seen my book in Chinese. And keep in mind, I don't know Chinese. I have probably 5, 6 words in Chinese. So I told them, "Would you please bring my book in Chinese in the break?" So they brought me a copy of my book, and it was my first time seeing my book in Chinese. And guess what they told me? My book in Chinese was sold by $5. And my book in English was sold at that time $179. And that's why they like my book. Wireless Network is one of the early books in wireless systems and still need updating. That's from Wiley. It's relatively old. This book, Fundamental of Performance Evaluation of Computer and Telecommunication System, published by Wiley. This is used all over the world as a textbook on performance evaluation, and it was authored with my colleague, the late Nuruddin Budrega. And optical LAN, it is one of the early book on multi-wave optical LANs, and it's a good reference. These are samples of our recent books. Let's go to the talk. The objective here, we propose a new online risk-based authentication system that provides more robust user identity information by combining mouse dynamic and keystroke dynamics in a multimodal framework. Using 24 participants, we obtained an equal error rate, one of course equal error rate, that means false acceptance rate equals false rejection rate of 8.21%, which is promising considering that we are dealing with the free text and free mouse movement. In biometrics, we have two main categories of biometric, physiological and behavior biometrics. And physiological, they have to do with the physiology of the body, of the human being body, such as the pattern of the face, fingerprints, hand geometry, iris, retina, and even DNA, and there are other also being explored. Behavior include keystroke, mouse, also dynamics, regular signature, voice. Some people consider voice as physiological, and others behavior. I think it's more into behavior because many people can imitate the voice of others. So it's behavior, consider behavior. So in a biometric-based security system, you have a sensor, which could be a camera or a scanner. And then we do pre-processing to remove the noise and sometimes reduce the dimensionality. Then we extract features. And then we do matching and comparison. If there is a match, that means yes. If there is no match, then that's mean no, which means accept, reject, if you will. In biometrics, a biometric system can provide two main functions, verification and identification. When we talk about verification, here it authenticates the users in conjunction with a smart card or username and ID, while identification, here the system authenticates its user from the biometric characters alone without the use of gadgets such as smart cards or username and ID number, etc. This slide shows samples of potential biometrics such as face geometry, iris, retina, and voice print. If you compare the performance of these biometrics, you will find that iris provides the highest accuracy compared to others. Of course, it's relatively more expensive, but it is very popular. Biometric, if you recall, for those who want to Walt Disney or Disneyland in the United States, and in Orlando, Florida, or in Los Angeles area, or the one in Paris, or the one in Tokyo, people buy a pass for these activities there for 1 week or so with the kids. And typically the kids, after 1 or 2 days, they get bored. They want to go back home to see grandpapa and grandmama. So on the breakfast in the morning, people talk to each other and they say, well, yeah, we have tickets. Either they tell to the newcomers, if you want, we can sell them to you. Or sometimes they say, okay, we're going back. There are 3 days left. You can take them and use the rest. Now, Disneyland and Walt Disney or simple action parks, if they let this continue, they will run out of business. What they said, okay, we need your ID, we need your card, or we need your ticket, but also we need to make sure that you are physically there. You are the person who bought them and you are physically there to authenticate. So they ask those who bought tickets for the shows to authenticate themselves physically. And also restaurants, the same thing. In restaurants run by universities for students. I myself, when I was at the Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio, we used to have a meal plan. And at that time, we get 3 meals for $180. In the weekend, we go outside, or people from the United States, they go and visit their family. So they give their ID to their friends who are not members of the group, who don't have a meal plan. So the meal plan, it's meant that such situation happens, and that's why they made it not expensive. So again, if they let that go, then they will end up running out of business, or at least, because these are companies, or at least raising the price. So they say, yes, we need to have that magnetic strip in your ID card to prove that you participate in the meal plan, but we need to make sure that you are here physically. So they need to scan their hands or the iris and so on. In terms of attacks to biometric system, we have active attacks and passive attacks. Active attack like massacred attack, replay attack, and modification, denial of service, and even there are others. Passive attack include eavesdropping, and here the intruder tries to either learn the content of the message or analyze the traffic in order to know the pattern. And that could be useful for situations that national security threat. The major characteristic of a biometric system include universality, which means all persons involved in that process, they have that biometric. For example, there was a study for the United States Congress more than 1 decade ago. It found that 2% of US citizens don't have eligible fingerprint. Although you may think that fingerprint is universal, it's not really universal, which means not every citizen in any country has eligible fingerprint. So universality is important. You may ask, so what we do in cases like this? Well, you need to have multiple biometric, dual or multiple of these, such as fingerprint and iris, or keystroke dynamics, and so on. Uniqueness, this means that no two individuals have the same characteristic, even twins. Permanence, that the characteristic doesn't vary in time. Again, collectability is a good characteristic of a good biometric. That means the characteristic can be quantitatively measured. Performance should be rewarding, the resource requirement to achieve an acceptable identification accuracy. Acceptability, that means the society, the culture accept it. Some cultures, they don't like to use the iris, especially for female, because in such societies, they cover the face of the female. So you need to select a biometric that suits the society. Circumvention, it refers how easy it to trick the biometric system. I am a fan of keystroke dynamics because my group, myself and my group, we were the first people in the world that found out hold time, which is called now dwell time, is unique for any computer users in the keyboard. The dwell time or the hold time is unique. The previous work, they relied on inter-key time, which we call the fly time, okay? Our group, we found that the whole time, which means when you push on the key, for example, if the phrase uses Obaidat, my last name, when you could press on O and release it, we call that hold time. We found these hold times for the same frames, unique for each computer user, okay? So, I am one of the people who were impressed with keystroke dynamics, and we're impressed also from our life experience. When you sit with people, for example, when you are a new professor, you get an office in the corridor, people walk back and forth. After a few weeks, you start to know that this is Carr, this is Josh, this is Jing Shao, this is Arun, this is Mohammad, this is Ali, this is John, this is Tony. From the way the people walk, you could find out who's walking. The same concept in the old days, the telegraph operators, back in the 1895, when somebody entered the room where these ladies operate the telegraph, they know who's working today from the way she types. So the same concept here. We know who's typing, but we need to extract features, quantitative features for that. And that was the challenge. In keystroke dynamics, the measures that we extracted are the enter-key times, or we call them the flight time, and the hold time, or the dwell times. We did various efforts in that domain, actually, including our work with my students. And we use at that time assembly language programming in order to have the process fast, make it in real time. And as I said, for enter key, if you use the phrase Obaidat, my last name, then the enter key, you measure the time between entering O and B, the key O and B, B and A, etc. We call these enter key. The hold times, or the dwell time, when you hit O and release it, we call it hold time. So we did work on that, and the process can be summarized. This flow chart, you enter the phrase or the password, you extract the features, which could be the enter key time or the flight time or the hold time or dwell time. And then you do comparison, authorized user, which means pass, yes or no. That's basically the flow chart for the operation. We get results we use for pre-processing neural network and pattern recognition technique. We started with traditional pattern recognition technique, but they were not as good as a neural network. And we were interested in two error types. We called them at that time type 1 error and type 2 error. Type 1 error means false acceptance rate, and type 2 error, false rejection rate. When you use a neural network, we get zero error, actually, especially when you use fuzzy ArtMap and RBFN, radial basis function, and linear vector quantization. These provide us with zero errors. So others, they did not provide you with 100% error, but some they provide high error, like counter backpropagation paradigm of a neural network. These days, we have smartphones and smart gadgets, so the physical, traditional, hardware-based, let's call it, a keyboard has been replaced by soft keyboard. And a soft keyboard, the most operating system, including Android and OS of Apple, can actually measure these features. So we have there two main feature or classes of features, timing features and non-timing features. Timing feature, that includes a processing time, which is the time stamp when the key is held down, and the release time, which is the time when the key is released. Okay, for example, these, and then you could have variation of these. Down, up, 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 down, down, and so on. For example, down, up, that the duration of time from a key is pressed until it is released, and so on. So you get all of these variation. The more features, the more accuracy in general, the more also confidence you have in the results. You have also non-timing features in such software or soft keyboard, and that includes finger pressure when you type in the soft key of your smartphone or tablet or other gadget. All of us, we have our way of typing, including how much pressure you put in the using your finger. And position on the key. Some of us use one finger, two finger, all fingers. The size of key serve is touched by the finger. These are also non-timing features that can be used to authenticate users and say that this is Arun, not Chen, and so on. This table shows you, for example, the pressure measured usually in pound per square inch, position, XY coordinate, size of the finger placement, the choice of finger. All of us type differently, and the actual distance between the letters on the keyboard. These are non-timing features that could be used to authenticate users. We get results as shown here using some of AI paradigms, and some of them give us excellent results and other give us not good results, as you see it here. Some of the recent research work, including reference 5, which I later describe what is reference 5, work by Hassan Keat, Faisal, and etc. So we compare our work with these previous works. In other works, we found the equal error rate, that's when false acceptance rate equals false rejection rate, we get 0.9%. The others were higher errors. So that shows our work in that domain provide a better result compared to state-of-the-art competing schemes. So the observation is that timing and non-timing combination analysis of features can improve the security level of keystroke dynamics authentication system. So you get more results. We come to the main contribution. The risk-based authentication uses contextual and historical information along with internet communication data to determine the probability of whether or not a user interaction is genuine. And these have lots of application. So many of the historical and contextual data used in existing risk-based authentication systems can be spoofed. Our approach, a more robust system that combines mouse gestures and keystroke dynamics has been devised. The challenge here, transparent data collection from mouse and keystroke and limited sessions in web environment, because this is meant for web environment. So here we extract separate model for the user, each user, for each biometric modality using Bayesian network. A modality means keystroke dynamics or mouse gesture. Keep in mind, the idea here, for those who are not familiar, the idea we found that when people type in the keyboard of a computer, whether hard keyboard or soft keyboard, his or her typing scheme is unique. The same thing can be said about mouse switch, the mouse gestures, okay, the mouse clicks and the mouse movement. Also, these are unique, okay, for each user. And here we try to combine both together, okay? So when we say modality, we means mouse modality and keystroke modality. Here it shows you dwell time, which we call it hold time, and flight time or enter key time. So this is dwell time, okay? You enter the, for example, A and release it. We call it dwell time or hold time. The enter key between A and B, that's called enter key, or we call it flight time. That's illustration to these concepts. Of course, in the keystroke dynamic, we have uppercase, lowercase, control, and other keys. We define 20 keystroke features. Mean of dwell time, we represent by this, mean flight time, and standard deviation. We get more features there. And shows you this example also here. So we developed online risk-based authentication scheme that integrates mouse dynamic and keystroke dynamics biometric in a multimodal frame using Bayesian network model. Here, due to limited amount of mouse action or keystroke that we involve in typical web sessions, relatively low performance is achieved when using each of them individually. But we found when you combine the two, we get significant enhancement, as we'll show you shortly. The performance metrics, we consider false acceptance rate and false rejection rate, which we call it equal error rate when they are equal. And here, the value of equal error rate can be easily obtained from the receiver operating characteristic curve. And it's a quick way to compare accuracy of devices with different receiver operating characteristics. Our experimental work provides us about 8.21% equal error rate. That's false acceptance rate and false rejection rate. That is for 24 participants, which is considered excellent given that you deal with web sessions, and in such environment you don't have much interaction. We're trying to move. This shows you uppercase and lowercase for the keystrokes, and for each category of keystroke, we calculate the mean and standard deviation of dual and hold times, as well as the distribution of each type of keystroke within a sequence of keystroke. And it shows you here, I could actually reduce it here, that we have second type is flight time or interkey time when only one key out of two belong to the uppercase keystroke dynamics. And the table given here, it shows you keystroke dynamics features, the summary of all of these together. It may not be readable easily from, but on the screen, I believe they are okay, readable there. In the case of the mouse, a mouse dynamic consists of extracting unique behavior for a user based on her or his mouse action, which consists of mouse movement and mouse click. So the mouse has to move and you have to click to select. The raw mouse data consists of mouse movement coordinate, movement angle, and time to move the mouse from one location to the other, and time of mouse click. The mouse movement direction can be divided into 8 areas because 360 divided by 45 give you 8 areas as given there. So we decided to go with 45 degrees displacement, if you will. Mouse features are extracted from batches of consecutive mouse action, and by default, we consider batch size 30. Here we extract 66 features from raw data organized under 10 factors listed in table 3 I showed you earlier. The 66 is magic, and it comes from 8 direction-based factors. Each factor consists of 8 features because we divided 360 degrees by 45 degrees, that give us 8. And we have 2 statistical factors, the mean and standard deviation. So 64, 8 times 8, 64 plus 2, that gives you 66 features. That's how the 66 comes. This is the table again, which lists all of these spin tricks there. A silence occurrence is identified when the mouse move distance is 0. The percentage of silence occurrence in a sequence of mouse action is represented by what they call it silence ratio, or SR. And after extracting the feature, noise is reduced or minimized, and the flight or enter key time is defined as the time between 2 consecutive keystrokes, such as Obaidat, or O and B, the time between entering O and B. So first, the flight time value must be positive since the keys are pressed consecutively. Second, by analyzing sample collected raw data for 5 random users, we observed that only a small amount of sample involved flight time beyond the 3 seconds. So why process for the whole window? So what we did here, we found that the percentage of record with flight time greater than 3 seconds is about 5%. So we applied the filter by removing data that's outside the 0 and 3 seconds, because we consider that not significant. By doing so, we optimize the computational power, reduce the time, execution time, if you will. For mouse dynamic, we apply 2 types of filter. First, we apply the moving average filter on the captured mouse, computer screen XY, and remove the noise on the mouse dynamic feature values. And we found here, by using the moving average, we take the mean of 5 points as the new value of the center point, and we apply the moving average filter on X and Y coordinates. The second filter applied on the mouse data is similar to the filter applied to keystroke dynamics. And again, this helps us to reduce computational power. So here, in the mouse dynamic data set collected for the above sample users, we observe the percentage of data with mouse move time less than 1.1 second and mouse move speed less than 5,000 picture element per second to be 97%. So we filter out as noise, consider it noise, mouse move time and mouse move speed falling out of the range 0 and 1.5 second and 0 and 5,000 picture element per second. And that the idea is to reduce computational power. We learn a Bayesian network to build the user profile and then use it to classify the monitored sample. And here it's assumed that the variables are discrete and finite, since most of the feature extracted from keystrokes and mouse action are continuous. So we did discretization to convert them to discrete mode. And for each user, we create a profile, separate Bayesian network model, BNU. And this shows you example on these. Example of a Bayesian network model for two different users of keystrokes. And what you have there in the, these are the features, if you will, different features as shown in the tables, table 2 and table 3. We collected data using social network for 24 users in North America, Europe, and Asia. And we use stratified tenfold cross validation to train the Bayesian network. And in general, cross validation is a way to predict the fit of a model to a hypothetical validation. So first, randomize the record and divide them into 10 equal size subset, we call it tenfolds. And this type of validation is called stratified validation. Second, repeat the run test for 10 times in each round between 1 and 10. The ICE subset is removed from the training set and is used as test set. And we repeated that. We then obtained the correctly classified records for 10 tests. The correctly classified records are the records whose predicted class is over 50%. The total number of correctly classified records is the sum of the 10 tests. The percentage of correctly classified records, we call it PCCR, and this term you will see it in the coming slides. PCCR stands for percentage of correctly classified records, is the total number of correctly classified records divided by the total number of records. And we have the table 5, which shows here these outcomes for different users, 24 users total. This shows you for user environment, keystroke Bayesian network for user 2 and user 7. This is 2, this is 7. And keystroke and mouse action were collected from a total of 24 users. Due to limited number of sessions contributed by some test users, the total number of users have enough data for enrollment was 12 only. And we talked about false as performance metric. We consider false acceptance rate and false rejection rates, which is when they are equal, that means equal error rate. The figure here, it shows you the mouse performance and false rejection and false acceptance. When they are equal, you get here about 22% equal error rate. It's good, but not what we like. For keystroke dynamics, it is higher. It is about 27, I believe, more than 22, about 27% or so, as you see it here. Here, the intersection of the red line with the black curve here, that gives you the value, which is over 20%. For keystroke dynamics, it's higher. So we get it 22%. While for the keystroke dynamics, 24% plus, of course. Now, when we combine both, look what we get. Okay. When we combine both keystroke dynamics and mouse gesture, we get an equal error rate of only 8.21%, as you see it here. Okay, and that's the key contribution there. It may not look impressive, but given the context and the environment you deal with, web session environment, that is considered excellent outcome. To conclude, which pleases Binayak, we introduce a new risk-based authentication system for web environment that combines mouse and keystroke dynamics, biometric using Bayesian network models here. Web environment, as I mentioned earlier, are characterized by the limited amount of keystroke and mouse action involved in the session. And this makes detection hard, especially for a free sample produced without a predefined baseline. Our device scheme provides us with an equal error rate, 1/4 acceptance rate equals false detection rate of 8.21%, which is encouraging. Risk-based authentication can be applied from two different perspectives, proactive and reactive approach. And that is application dependent. When applied proactively, risk-based authentication can be integrated with the login process and used to block from the beginning access to user flagged as risky. While reactive risk-based authentication can be used to identify and revert ongoing and completed transaction considered as risky. So depending on the application, for some application you deal with bank and financial institution. For other application, you deal with national security and you need to stop the behavior from the beginning. While if it's a bank, you let the user try until you get more information about him or her, and then you stop him. We get equal error rate of 8.21%, although such a performance is not impressive for proactive risk authentication environment. We believe it's good for reactive risk-based authentication, where in this case, the goal is not to prevent the user from using the system, but rather to identify malicious session and trigger appropriate risk mitigation measures. Thank you, and I will be glad to entertain with your questions. Sheshe.
Yeah. Thank you, Professor, for the nice talk. Yeah. Anyone have any questions? Audience?
Any question? Especially from students, if they are students.
Yes. Please unmute and ask your question, please. Oh.
You can email me also if there are no
Okay.
questions. Maybe the talk was clear or easy for audience.
Yeah, if you have any questions, please write to Professor Obaidat. And if you want to know about his work and interested to co-work with him, please communicate with him. He's, I think, Professor, what is your local time currently?
I am now 5:44 a.m.
Oh, so early.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yes.
I work in different time zones. You know, I travel, so sometimes you find me in the States, in Jordan, in India, in China, in Australia. So I'm used to that. Yeah, I'm used to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
And if you want to contact me, very easy, missobaidat@gmail.com, or if you run out of option, just search my last name and you will find my picture. That's very easy also.
Yeah, sure. You are a well-known person to everyone, so it's not easy
Thank you.
to.
Thank you, Dr.
It's not difficult to find you. Thank you, Professor, for your.
Thank you all.
Nice
Thank
talk.
you. Have a successful conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Sheshe. Thank you.
So I think we can take a break for 5 minutes, then we can start the next session. Himanshu, are you there? Himanshu?
Yes, sir, I'm there.
Yeah, please set Professor Lee as a presenter so that he
Professor
can.
Lee.
Yes.
I can't see which. Okay,
Professor
V.
Lee, can you just raise your hand so that student can easily identify you?
Hi.
Yeah.
Okay,
Please
one
set
second.
Professor Lee as a presenter so that he can share his slides.
I think he is already. I'll just see. 1 second.
I will send the slides to Professor Teng.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir, he is now presenter.
Okay.
Yeah. So, can you, Professor, share your slides?
So I can. I have asked Dr. Chen help me to show the slide.
Oh, okay.
So I have sent the slide to him. So
Yeah,
if there
okay.
anyone have the
he
slide,
already sent your slide to me.
okay.
Himanshu, I'm
Yes, sir.
I'm sending the slide of Dr. Lee.
Okay.
To you. So you just need to share it.
Okay.
So please help me to control the play of slides. Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Okay.
Professor. So have you received? I send you over Skype.
Yes, sir, I got it.
Okay. Yeah, please share, Professor.
Just a second.
Slide.
I'm downloading. It's uploading.
Okay.
Sir, can you see? Do you have access to change the slide?
Well, would you please help me to change the slide?
Like this?
Yes. Thank you.
Like, you don't have the control, right, to change?
Yeah. I have no control right. So please help
Okay,
me
no
to.
problem. Just tell me when I have to change. I will change. Okay.
Okay. I will tell you.
All right, sir.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir.
Chairman, Professor Teng, are you
Yeah.
here?
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay,
maybe
Professor. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, it's been 10:50, and welcome. Continue attending this conference, and in this session, I have a great honor to host the speech of Dr. Wei-Bin Lee. Dr. Wei-Bin Lee is my long-term friend. Currently, he is CEO of Hong Hai Institute of Hong Hai Research Center, and he's also served as the CISO of Hong Hai, aka Foxconn. Dr. Wei-Bin Lee has been a very famous professor and scholar in cryptography and digital watermarking and information security management fields. So currently, Dr. Lee still hosts still with Department of Computer Science and Information Engineering in Fengjia University. And today, Dr. Lee will use the title Digital Pandora Reshaping Cybersecurity Landscape with AI and Quantum to share the experience about how he reshaped the cybersecurity framework in Hong Hai. And I think that is a very precious opportunity for all of us to learn. Now, without further ado, please welcome, join me to welcome Dr. Wei-Bin Lee. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Professor Teng. It's my pleasure to be here. So just like the introduction, I have the privilege of wearing multiple hats in the fields of technology and cybersecurity. The CEO of the Hong Hai Research Institute and CISO of the Hong Hai, also is the Foxconn, and a professor at Fengjia University here in Taiwan, and the honorary chairman of the Artificial Intelligence Foundation in Taiwan. So these roles have given me a front row seat to the rapid evolution of technology and the challenge it brings. So, Now, today we step into a world where technology is advancing faster than ever, a world that holds incredible potential, but also unprecedented risks. This is the age of, so I call the digital Pandora, where artificial intelligence and quantum computing are reshaping the very foundation of cybersecurity. Much like Pandora's box from mythology, these technologies has unlocked immense possibilities, but have also unleashed new challenges that test our systems, our strategies, and even our understanding of security itself. So in this talk, I will explore the profound impact of AI and quantum technologies on cybersecurity. We'll dive into how they amplify both opportunities and threats, why adapting this reality requires rethinking everything we know about security, and how the future will demand more collaboration, innovation, and responsibility than ever before. This is just about technology, not just about technology, it's about people, decisions, and the culture we build to face the unknown. So please next. Next slide, please. Okay. So it's this really kind of fascinating landscape. The emerging technology that's just evolving so rapidly, and we need like a completely different security mindset. I think that cybersecurity is a wild arena. It's right now, and it's already pretty intense, and this adversary who just never give up. Huge gap in resources between like attackers and those who are trying to defend. And of course, these regulations, they are always changing. And then on top of that, you throw AI into, which feels like it's completely changing. AI engage in like this internal conflicts, which is a whole other level of complexity. I think that we need to kind of unpack a little bit. These AI systems are becoming so incredibly sophisticated. It's not even just their tool anymore, right? They are almost like actors in their own right. As they are evolving, they can develop this really unexpected behavior and even conflicts within their own design. So imagine, you have got two AI systems and they are both designed to protect the network, but because of the way that their decisions are uncertain, they clash, creating a vulnerability that an attacker could exploit. So it's like the security system itself is a weak point. And even with all of this advanced technology that we have, humans are still a weakest link. Absolutely the human element. So as its weakest link exactly, and I mean we can build the most sophisticated systems, the strongest digital fortresses, but if somebody falls a phishing email or write their password down on a sticky note, it can just fall apart. The complete security verification is theoretically impossible because there are always going to be new vulnerabilities popping up, new ways to attack, and of course human error. So it's not just about building an impenetrable fortress, right? It's almost like you have to try to anticipate how attackers are going to exploit our weaknesses, both technological and human. So let's talk about when no one notices we are doing our job well. Think about that for a moment. In our field, perfect education often means completely invisibility. Just like a perfectly maintained bridge that thousands cross daily without a second thought, our best work goes unnoticed. But here is the challenge: how do we demonstrate value when success means nothing happens? When everything works perfectly, leadership might ask, what exactly are we paying for? It's like being a goalkeeper who prevent all shots on goals. No dramatic saves, but calm control. Here, another key paradox: the unknown's unknown. Are we truly secure if just threats go undetected? Consider what this means. No alert doesn't necessarily means no threats. Silence could mean either perfect security or complete blindness. We must question our own assumptions about safety. So the mark of truly mature security program isn't just preventing incidents. It's having the wisdom to question the silence and the courage to actively verify our assumptions. So next, please. So here talk about the human nature. Cybersecurity is deeply impacted by human nature. People naturally find ways to bypass preventive mechanisms. Human nature often seeks convenience and efficiency, even it means circumventing established security measures. So employees might share passwords or disable multi-factor authentication because they find it cumbersome, even though it compromises security. This behavior highlights the tension between usability and security, requiring a balance that addresses human tendencies without weakening safeguards. And social engineering remains a primary attack vector. Human psychology is a powerful tool for attackers. as it's easier to manipulate individuals than to broken, well-designed technical defense. Victims are tricked into providing sensitive information by exploiting trust, fears, or urgency. It's very easy to see. There are lots of examples in the world. Social engineering exploits our natural tendencies to trust, comply, and respond to perceived authority, emphasizing the critical needs for user awareness and training. So human behavior is often the weakest link in security systems. Even the most robust system can fail when humans make mistakes or act irresponsibly. So for example, clicking a malicious link using weak passwords or failing to update software creates vulnerability. It's very easy to see today. Okay, so cybersecurity is not just a technical issue. It's inherently tied to human nature. Addressing these challenges requires a multifaceted approach that combines robust technical solution, user-centered design, and comprehensive awareness and training programs. Next, please. Let's talk about what kind of implication behind the software testing reality. Fundamentally implicates that no amount of testing can prove a system is completely secure. Security is probabilistic rather than deterministic. Every test only represents a snapshot in time because the attack surface is constantly evolving. New vulnerabilities emerging with technical advancement. It's impossible to test for all potential attack vectors. So the statement has profound implications for security testing. So we need to move focus from proving security to finding vulnerabilities. Emphasize continuous testing over point-in-time validation. They also influence test design and execution, shape security metrics and measurements, of course, guide resource allocation, and also drive continuous improvement. It's very important. Informs risk management and shape security investment. Okay. Please, next. New technology often brings hopes and benefits. We all know that there must be challenges in adopting the new technology, but we always underestimate the risk because there are always some forces that push the solutions or products out the door without carefully considering security. So technology impact beyond current generation. So for example, there are some problems, some risks. Technology impact beyond current generation. So the technology capability is potentially growth. The interconnected system creates cascaded effects. Long-term implication difficult to predict. They are all the problems. They also have the regulatory lag. Legislative process cannot keep pace with innovation. Everybody knows that, right? Gap between technology deployment and governance. Need for adaptive regulatory framework. They are all problems. Social adaptive challenge also means that the people is resistant to change. They always have the skill gap in workforces. Privacy and ethical concern is rising right now. We know that is very important for us, for the society. So let's talk about the technology evolution and governance. The rapid advance of AI and quantum computing made it difficult. Need for proactive policy development and the balance between innovation and control. So finally, it's very important. It's also the fact that proper use yield value and misuse leads to significant issues. Okay, next. So we must have more aggressive mindset about cybersecurity. And so the focus on when, not if, incident will occur. Security today requires requires acknowledging that breaches are not possibilities but certainty. This mindset shifts organizations from denial or overconfidence to a readiness state, prioritizing detection, containment, and rapid response, planning with inevitability in mind ensures resilience when, not if, a breach happens. So the proactive preparation is essential. Modern threats demand proactive measures. Effective preparation minimize reaction time and impact, ensuring organizations can operate confidently in an increasing hostile landscape. The mindset is to anticipate threats and prepare rather than reacting the crisis as they arise. So continual adaptation to emerging threat is really important. Security must evolve in step with rapidly changing threat. This mindset emphasizes agility, ensuring systems and teams remain effective even as attackers innovate. This concept reflects the necessity for a forward-looking, adaptive, and a realistic approach to security in the modern era. Okay, next, please. Yes, this is where our concept of the chess versus puzzle paradigm is really relevant. We need to shift our mindset, not just solving like a static puzzle when IT comes to security, but playing this like a dynamic game of chess against a opponent who's constantly adapting. So, break down this chess versus puzzle themes. We may think that chess strategies operate within puzzle framework, where puzzle provides stable board of dynamic play. The synergy between chess-like dynamic strategies and the puzzle-like foundational stability creates a robust and adaptive cybersecurity framework where dynamic response are empowered by a stable foundation. So think of the puzzle mode as you are laying the foundation. You are setting up the firewall, you are implementing these security protocols, and you are trying to establish a baseline. Okay, but when we switch into this chess mode, we are thinking several steps ahead. You are anticipating the attacker's next move, and then you are adjusting your strategy in real time. So we need both. We need the solid foundation, the puzzle mode, but we also need the chess mode to stay ahead of the curve. Okay, next, please. It is all about quick thinking, being able to adapt to new situations and strategies right. So it's about having a good defense, but also being able to, think on your feet and react to this new threat. But security is an ongoing process of evolution rather than a static state. Here captures how emerging technologies like AI, quantum computing, and their convergence with quantum AI can reshape cybersecurity. For AI in cybersecurity, AI's role in enhancing detection, automation, and prediction is spot on. However, AI's dual-use nature should also be applied by attackers for crafting sophisticated threats, such as advanced phishing campaigns. Quantum evolutions is the other things, of course. Yesterday, Jensen Huang have said something about that, so we can examine it again. The disruption to cryptography is essential. as quantum computing threatens widely used encryption methods. The quantum-resistant algorithms are timely, but more emphasis on the transition strategy from classical to quantum-resistant systems is needed. So for the quantum AI, the convergence of quantum computing and AI is well placed to emphasize both opportunity and threats. How quantum AI could improve defense, such as by optimizing AI-driven threat analysis and the cryptography systems. Quantum AI could raise complex governance and ethical issues, particularly around its potential misuse. AI and quantum are not standalone disruptions, but could amplify each other's impact, creating both challenges and solutions. The evolving threat landscape and technological advancements demand the rethinking of traditional security paradigms. Here are some key shifts. From static defense to dynamic immunity. Traditional static defense, such as firewall and static rules, are no longer sufficient against involving adaptive threats. The focus is shifting toward dynamic immunity, akin to biological immune system. This approach continuously monitors, detects, and responds to threat in real time, adapting to new attack patterns and vulnerabilities. So we must act from reactive response to proactive prediction, instead of waiting for incidents to occur. We are now embracing proactive measures to predict and prevent attacks. Predictive threat intelligence powered by machine learning analyze historical data and trends to anticipate emerging threat, reducing response time and minimizing damage. The last one we observe is the system from closed to open and from system to ecosystem. The shift from traditional closed system to open ecosystem reflects the interconnected nature of modern IT environments. While parameter-based security relies on controlled access point and assumed internal trust, today's open ecosystem prioritizing collaboration, shared resources, and API-driven interactions. That is, in the traditional approach, we talk about strong boundary defense, clear internal-external separation, and the controlled access point. However, in an open ecosystem, we talk about the integration with cloud services, partner networks, and shared infrastructure. This shift enhances the flexibility and innovation, but introduces new vulnerabilities. We need robust security strategies. This paradigm shift reflects the need for a dynamic, predictive, and collaborative approach to cybersecurity. And the organization adopt open ecosystem and cloud-first strategies. They must involve their defense from static, reactive model to adaptive, proactive, and integrated system to address the complexity of the modern threat landscape effectively. And next, please. Next, please. Okay, this is where AI starts to feel like, the rapid growth of AI presents immense opportunity, but also significant challenges, many of which remain underexplored. So the first that we don't have a good understanding, we must admit that we don't have a good understanding and complete definition of AI risks and impacts. AI risks such as bias, ethical concerns, security vulnerabilities, and unintended consequences are complex complex and multifaceted. However, the lack of a universally accepted framework makes it difficult to anticipate and address these risks comprehensively. So the AI system involved on their own is another problem. Many AI systems, particularly those involving machine learning, continue to learn and adapt post-deployment. While this enhancement performance is also introduce predictability and the potential deviation from intended behaviors. So the black box nature of many AI models, especially deep learning systems, poses challenges in understanding how decisions are made. Lack of interpretability undermines trust and accountability. So the impact of AI application is context and use case specific. So this is very difficult to predict. The AI's behaviors and risks vary significantly depending on contexts such as healthcare, finance, or autonomous system. A one-size-fits-all approach to AI governance or evolution is inadequate. And also perception vary by individual and change with time. Individual perception of AI shaped by personal values, cultural norms, and evolving regulations can influence the acceptance and the deployment of AI systems. Over time, these perceptions may shift as technology matures and societal priorities evolve. These observations underscore the need for a comprehensive, adaptive, and context-aware approach to AI governance and deployment. As AI continues to evolve, addressing this challenge will be critical to unlocking its potential while mitigating risks. AI plays distinct roles in the security landscape as a tool for both attack and defense, and as a target for exploitation. This triad highlights the multifaceted nature of AI in cybersecurity and underscore the importance of comprehensive strategies to protect, leverage, and monitor AI system effectively. Next, please. So this image is from Palo Alto Networks presentation. They illustrate how artificial intelligence is transforming cybersecurity threats, which tell us a sense of ominous transformation in the threat landscape. The overall message is that AI is making cyber threat more numerous, faster, and more sophisticated. The evolving threat landscape with AI can reach more targets with ease. Because AI enables threat actors to scale malware creation with 20 times surge in new malicious program. You can understand the efficiency of cyber attacks. It can also move in with lightning fast speed. Automated attack now spread globally within an hour of compromise, reflecting an unprecedented speed at which AI-driven threat operates. That even every attack feels like a 0 day. AI-enhanced attack sophistication with over 19.6 million unique daily attacks, making them more unpredictable and harder to defend against. We have all seen those generic phishing email. They are pretty easy to spot. But what does an AI-powered phishing attack looks like? How are they using AI to really kind of take IT to the next level with social engineering? An AI system that scans through social media and public records, maybe even data on the dark web, to build this really detailed profile of you. They know your interests, your habits, maybe even how you are feeling emotionally. Then AI uses all of that information to craft a phishing email that is so personalized and so convincing that it's almost impossible to resist. And what else AI might even mimic the writing style of someone you trust, making AI even more deceptive. This is both impressive and terrifying at the same time, right? So if AI is getting that good at deception, what could we even do to combat that? Okay, next, please. Okay, so we are fighting AI with AI in a sense. The cybersecurity landscape has fundamentally changed, and we are now deploying AI as our primary countermeasure. The real-time threat detection, we are not just looking for known threats, we are identifying anomalous behaviors it happens. So we have moved into predictive security rather than waiting for attacks. Our AI systems are anticipating them. It's like having a weather forecast for cyber threats, allowing us to strengthen defense before storms hit. So the third is where when a threat is detected, our AI system can contain and respond to threats instantly, executing pre-approved security playbooks and machine speed. It's very important to execute at a machine speed. Then AI systems are constantly learning what's normal in your environment. You can spot when something not quite right, even it looks legitimate on the surface. So this is particularly effective against the sophisticated insider threats and advanced persistent threats. So finally, we can understand that the zero-day vulnerability detection is very important, because we have said that almost every attack like a zero-day attack. So we are not just defending against no threat. The AI systems are actively hunting for unknown vulnerabilities before they can be exploited. As adversaries deploy AI-powered attacks, we are countering with AI-powered defense. They operate faster, smarter, and most efficiently than ever before. This isn't about replacing human expertise. It's about augmenting it. We are giving our security teams superhuman capabilities to defend against the machine speed threats. The next, please. But we have pointed out that we are really just at the beginning of the understanding AI's full impact on cybersecurity. We don't even have like a complete definition of all the risks AI might pose, you know. So, okay, so it feels like we are trying to understand a moving target. Following our earlier discussion about AI's dual role in cybersecurity, we need to highlight a critical perspective. AI itself is vulnerable. Think of it this way, while we are using AI as both a weapon and a shield, we must recognize the AI system themselves can become target. That means work you through 5 critical vulnerabilities, for examples. First is data poisoning. Imagine someone can contaminate training data, causing our AI to learn the wrong patterns and make dangerously incorrect decisions. Second is adversarial attack. There are particularly clever attackers can subtle crafted perturbations in input data that look normal to human, but trick AI models into making incorrect decisions. That is, an attacker could alter pixels in an image to make a facial recognition system misidentify a person. So that we are seeing model theft. Think about this as industrial espionage for the AI age. Attackers reverse engineer proprietary AI models, extracting sensitive information or replicating the model to unauthorized use. With constructing a commercial AI model to bypass licensing or extract the trap secrets. The fourth is privacy violation. Privacy violations are becoming more sophisticated. AI systems often process sensitive personal data, and attackers can exploit vulnerabilities to access or infer private information. So the fifth is there's technology abuse. Malicious actors can misuse AI technologies, such as generating deepfake, automating phishing campaigns, or amplifying disinformation. And finally is that we don't know what we don't know. Emerging AI vulnerabilities may remain undiscovered, posing risks beyond current understanding. So you can see the WASP Top 10 for LLM applications launched in 2023 highlights vulnerabilities specific to AI-driven systems. As AI integration grows, security professionals must anticipate and address emerging risks, leverage OWASP's insight to build stronger defense. This is for your reference. The key takeaway here is that while AI is transforming our security capabilities, it's also introducing new vulnerabilities we must address. So as we deploy AI for security, we must simultaneously secure our AI. So the next, please. So, and just when we saw cybersecurity couldn't get more complex, we now have quantum computing entering the equation. This machine have the potential to break every asymmetric encryption methods we rely on today, an absolute game changer. So what can we do to prepare? The answer lies in post-quantum cryptography or PQC. These are new cryptography algorithms designed to resist quantum computer attacks. Think of it as creating stronger quantum-resistant locks to replace the one that could soon be broken. However, this transition won't be simple. Moving to a quantum-resistant world will require overhauling our entire public cryptography infrastructure. It's not just a matter of upgrading or patching. It means taking inventory and replacing every cryptography system currently in use. And not forget the challenges. PQC algorithm may impact system performance, and most organizations haven't budgeted for this transition. In scale and complexity is comparable to the Y2K bug. You know what is that, but potentially even more demanding. Okay, so please next. So the time to act is now, especially with the looming threat of harvest now, decrypt later attacks. While the risks are immediate, the transition to post-quantum cryptography is a long-term effort that requires carefully planning. To help guide this process, the NSA, National Security Agency of the United States, have provided a roadmap for implementing their CNSA 2.0 standards. which aim to secure national security systems against quantum threats. Let's take a close look at their recommendations. So first, the software and firmware signing organizations should be transitioning immediately and to support and preferred the standard by the recommendation by 2025 and exclusively used by 2030. The second is web browser, servers, and cloud services. These critical components should support CNSA 2.0 by 2025 with inclusive adoption by 2033. And the third is traditional networking equipment such as VPNs and routers that support CNSA 2.0 by 2026 with fully transition by 2030. Operating systems should supporting CNSA 2.0 by 2027 and transition exclusively by 2033. Niche equipment, including constrained devices and large PKI systems, support should start by 2030 with exclusively used by 2033. Custom application and legacy equipment, these systems should be updated or replaced entirely by 2033. So the timeline outlined by NSA for transition to CNSA 2.0 is indeed ambitious. Given the complexity and scale of replacing cryptography systems, updating or replacing cryptography systems across software, hardware, and legacy equipment is not a small task. It's not just a matter of swapping our encryption algorithm. It requires coordinate efforts across industries and systems for immediate update for software to long-term replacement for legacy equipment. However, this urgency is justified due to the risk posed by quantum computer in advancement and the risk of harvest now, decrypt later attacks grows every day. While the timeline is ambition, it's designed to minimize risks and prioritize critical system first, such as software and networking equipment. It's not about rushing, but about being proactive and being proactive. Organizations that act now will be better prepared, reduce costs in the long term, and build trust as quantum resilient leaders. Time or not, the time to act is now. Although Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, said it will take about 20 years to commercialize quantum computers, that's decade away at CES. Of course, we are happy about that saying, but interoperability problem due to inconsistent cryptography protocols will happen if you do not take action. So time to act is now, especially with the risks of harvest now, decrypt later attacks already looming. And next, please. Okay, so we have AI battling AI and the threat of quantum computers on the horizon. And it feels like the whole digital landscape is shifting under our feet. Up to now, we were talking about how AI and quantum computing are really kind of changing the game when it comes to cybersecurity. And this shift to a quantum-resistant world is to be huge, maybe even bigger than Y2K. Here are some reasons why transition is so complicated. Well, I think one of the biggest thing is interoperability. You know, trying to integrate these new PQC standards with all the systems we already have, it's a maze, and there's a really risk of creating new vulnerabilities like during the transition, because you are basically trying to swap our engine of a car while it's still running. Exactly while it's still run and it's not just software updates there. We are talking about hardware too, right? A lot of devices out there just don't have the power to handle this new PQC algorithms. They are much more complicated. Running the latest video games on a computer from 10 years ago, just not going to happen. So we are talking about potential hardware bottleneck. And potentially, yet, getting this new cryptography method implemented the right way is really complicated, and there's so much room for error. Even tiny mistake can create vulnerabilities that attackers can then take advantage of. So it's not just about developing the tech, it's also about making sure that it's put in place correctly and that people are trained to actually use it securely. Exactly as this transition could take 10 to 15 years, maybe even longer. And that's a really long time when you talk about technology, right? So it's good for us that quantum computer are a decade away, but the room for migration still does not seem that optimistic. We have warned about this idea of harvest now, decrypt later, which is a little scary. Attackers stealing data that's encrypted today, that's just holding on it until they have those powerful quantum computers, so they can decrypt it later. So they are playing the long game, which they'll eventually bet on. They will have the tools. It's like a race against time. It's a big sovereign when you think about it. But it's not all bad news, right? We also talk about how AI and quantum computing are opening a lot of doors for new research. Interesting. Yes, it's not just about the threat, right? So they also have potential to really change the cybersecurity for the better. Okay, so next, please. Okay, so cybersecurity is no longer just technical issues. It's about people, behavior, and building a culture of security awareness. Technology alone is just one piece of the puzzle. Cybersecurity brings together diverse disciplines, computer science, mathematics, psychology, laws, and more. Only by combining these perspectives can we tackle today's complex problems. It's clear that yesterday's solution cannot address today's threat. Quantum computing and AI are reshaping the cybersecurity landscape, and the transition to post-quantum cryptography is both critical and challenging. While PQC migration is essential, it introduces a gateway for new threats. As we upgrade systems and implementing quantum-resistant algorithms, gaps and inconsistencies can emerge, creating opportunity for attackers. Okay, it's like changing all the locks on a building while people are still coming and going. Things are bound to go wrong. Carefully planning, coordination, and adherence to security best practice are key during this transaction. It's really, really difficult. Just like I said, they're changing all locks on the building while people are still coming and going. The AI also presents unique challenges and opportunities. Responsible AI, everybody said that. The responsible AI development is crucial. This means addressing potential biases, managing unintended risks, and ensuring transparency and accountability. AI should align with our values, enhance security, and avoid introducing new vulnerabilities or exacerbating existing inequalities. In short, we need AI that serves us, not the other way around. The interplay between AI and quantum technology also offer exciting research opportunities. We must focus on building AI systems that are strong, reliable, and secure against manipulation. At the same time, we need to push the boundaries of quantum-resistant cryptography to withstand even the most advanced attacks. More importantly, we need to study how AI and quantum will evolve together and develop strategies to manage their combined risk while harnessing their potential benefits. This is a call to action for researchers and professionals from all fields to team up, share knowledge, and work together to find solutions. The future of cybersecurity blurs the line between physical and digital worlds with stakes higher than ever. It demands that we think differently, take new approaches, and commit to collaboration and innovation. And cybersecurity is not a destination, it's a journey. It challenges us to be lifelong learners, constantly involving as the world changes. So as an individual and as a society, what can we do to be more security conscious and better prepared for what's next? Let's move forward into this digital future with curiosity, responsibility, and vigilance. Stay curious, stay safe, and keep pushing the boundaries. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Wei-Bin, for your very, how to say, precious insight. And you also control your speech is just exactly 15 minutes, which means we might at most take one question. So first of all, I would like to know, does any attendees has any question about the talk of Dr. Lee? Okay, no one raised a hand. So there's only one question I would like to ask. Basically, I think that it's very true that the cybersecurity is a lifelong journey. And ironically, being a chief information security officer, sometimes it's a dilemma that if there are no big cybersecurity accident, usually it means that you are doing your job good. But on the other hand, it might also create an illusion that our company are safe. So the top might not want to keep allocate resource to cybersecurity. So how do what's your effort to make sure that the resource is continuously allocated to protect the DASCOM?
Okay, I think the problem is really a dilemma or between you and the high level managers. So I think the major, there are a lot of framework, there are a lot of methodology can help you to do the job well, but it's really difficult to convince the top managers what you are doing and how the things going. Okay, so I think the major problem is not the solution itself, but the trust. Then you must have the trust between you and the top managers, so that can trust you will do your best to help the company, because there's no the so-called right answer. It depends on your situation, depends on your environment, depends on your business. So there's no one solution for all. So the major problem of the CISO is how to build up the trust relationship with your manager, your top manager. Okay, not really the solutions you provide, what kind of brand you buy, what kind of solutions you chose. This not really, because we are all experts, we know how to do that, but how to convince your boss. So the major issue is the trust.
I see. The trust. Okay.
Yeah.
So it looks like it is a more of a political questions and a technical one. Okay.
Yeah.
So by the way, Himanshu, we have
Yeah.
audience raising hands. Yeah, please speak.
Yes. So I was having just one question. Like since I'm a master student over here, so I'm doing research towards cybersecurity. So is there any internship opportunity available in Foxconn?
Pardon?
Is there any internship opportunity available in Foxconn?
So I'm not really understand your question, please. Can you say again?
Oh, so I'm a master student here at NTUST,
Okay.
doing research in cybersecurity and
Uh-huh.
cloud. So I was wondering, is there any internship opportunity in Foxconn for master student?
Okay. Yes, we have some opportunity for the master students, and
Okay.
maybe you can send your resume to Dr. Teng, and I can see if there are any opportunity for you.
Definitely.
And so, what's your major? The major topic you are studying right now? What is your topic?
So actually, currently I'm working towards edge computing, towards the security.
Okay.
And previously I have worked on trustworthy AI, and like before this I was doing internship here in Taiwan at National Chungcheong University. So towards cloud security and trustworthy AI.
Okay, I
Okay.
think both you can keep the interview privately.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, we
Okay.
have a lot of topics. Okay, so we met, but we are more research oriented. So we are
Yeah.
Honghai Research Institute. We have no
Yes.
development. We are far away
Yeah.
from the products. It's very interesting here, really. So I can hand your data to Professor Deng. Hey, so you are studying in National Technology and Science University?
Yes.
Okay, good. So you can send the data to Dr. Deng,
Okay.
and he will hand the data to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And one more, one of my lab mate is doing PhD. He has a question.
Okay.
The professor, my research area is quantum computing.
Okay.
So, and we are also working in quantum key distribution protocol development. So, what kind of skill set required for a company perspective in quantum computing and security?
You know, the Honghai Research Institute, the Honghai Research Institute have 5 different research centers. They also include quantum computing.
Okay.
So we have a lot of cooperation, but up to now we have not really have no precisely directions to work together.
Okay.
So, but we know that the quantum computer is still far away.
Okay. Thank you.
But we also have the hardware part of this quantum computer. We have a laboratory of ion trap laboratory that use the ion trap technology to build up the quantum computer about the hardware.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Professor.
No problem.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's about time to close the session, and yeah, it because it is online, so I can ask you to give a round of applause. So just imagine in your mind, and thank you Wei-Bin for your for sharing your thought. Okay, I will close this session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you.
So let's take a break, lunch break, and we'll resume the next session, parallelly to session at 1 p.m. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining.